Hello everyone, this is SeReNiiTYzZ here, back with another awesome Fortnite Battle Royale gameplay today. This time today guys, another nice solo victory in which I, in my opinion in this gameplay today, use a better use of materials final and much less the defensive building and more offensive strategies, and starting to incorporate these more into my gameplays now. So I hope you guys really enjoy this, again with the awesome blockbuster skin, so looking forward to doing it. Been grinding out some solos using the blockbuster, and to start off proceedings here, just had a sort of debate whether I should go Risky Reels or Lonely Lodge because of the first few stops on the bus. I tend to jump out wherever the bus is first headed, or Tilted Towers these days when I play solos, just because I'm trying to get sort of more action at the start. So that I can sort of, get, more exciting gameplay. So that's the sort of, thinking behind it. But to start off proceedings, I go to Lonely Lodge, and just didn't fancy Risky Reels this game. I don't know why, but as you can see, one other person has come to, nearby to Lonely Lodge, and at this point here, I'm a good stead for the chest that's on the tower. So I go there, because I'm going to be the first person to get there. At this point here, just taking care because I did see someone above me who I can hear above me from game sound. Immediately as I grab my AR, I just go after and put the pressure on immediately and take that player out. So really nice play, although they did shoot me back a little bit. I did take quite a bit of damage, but was able to quickly get their loot, get a shield pot here, and that's a really nice way to start. And I think that player was the only player that I saw that actually came to Lonely Lodge, so I think I've got it to myself now, but nevertheless have to be careful because I am low HP, got some shield to protect myself, but need to get those mushrooms on pronto really, because there's quite a few around Lonely Lodge. And obviously grabbing a slurp is ideal because 25 health and shield back, so nice way to start things off. Good shots from that player actually, considering, because it did actually get me quite weak, so I did well to finish them off as well quickly. I think as soon as you get a weapon at the start and you're in a good position to kill a player, I will try and make sure that you get them whilst they're, that their pants are down a little bit and they haven't got time to react as much. Is the best time to go. But at this point here, just gathering some wood as well, just in case there are any other landers here. Materials will be very helpful in the beginning fights because players might not have had the opportunity to mine them yet, so that's why I was going for that. And at this point here, just looking for, sometimes you get a shotty in this hut, and that's what I was looking for. Unfortunately, still don't have one just yet, but yeah, still able to get materials, which is nice, as these will help me throughout the gameplay, and it's good to get a good supply of wood. Obviously brilliant to have 100 shield as well. That's very, very helpful to protect my 47 HP, because that's not the greatest, but definitely should be able to find bandages along the way. But really nice start, nice to start with a kill, and we do have to travel a little bit to get into the zone, so as soon as I've done looting, I've got to hit the road. But at this point here, just grabbing more wood, just trying to loot the houses as quickly as possible. As you can see, it's not the greatest Lonely Lodge for loot. I think even in that house I just looked, that I searched there, didn't even have anything, so really not the greatest Lonely Lodge that I've ever encountered. Probably one of the least contained with loot actually. But at this point here, just looting what we can. Always good to go for the ammo crates, although it's not giving me a great deal of stuff. But here as well for the house, it's unusual to not have any chests in it whatsoever. I've come here many times, and I've never experienced that, so it wasn't the greatest Lonely Lodge for me in terms of the weaponry. I'd probably say the best thing I grabbed here was the green pump, but apart from that, it's not been very triumphant. So hopefully when we push forward with the rest of the gameplay, I'm going to be able to triumph with these weapons and get some better stuff, and I'm sure that will be the case since I do win this Royale, but we'll have to see. But at this point here, guys, just trying to loot what's ever here. Obviously there's no chest here as well, which is kind of unusual. I mean, like, to have barely any chests at Lonely Lodge. I think the only couple of chests that were really here was the ones on the tower, so never experienced such an empty looted Lonely Lodge, but I guess that's the nature of Fortnite. Sometimes these things aren't as heavy looted, and in other areas that the chest spawns must have been much more frequent. But yeah, at this point here, just a few concerns. Obviously, to get the loot is important. but also to sort my HP out is going to be important going forward, so got all that to bear in mind. And do have quite far to run, so at this point I'm starting to make progress. I'm going to have a good like 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get across, so it's going to be enough time. But the main concern really is just to make sure that we have, you know, everything that we can, you know, going forward in terms of, you know, getting some better loot. And at this point here, always worth looking at these small shacks when you're going on the road, because especially after having an area where you didn't manage to find much loot, it's always worth checking them even more. And nice to claim some small shields there. At this moment in time I have a fair few now, so that's really good. That's one of the best things I have in my inventory. And again, just searching here because whatever we need is going to be useful going forward. And at this point here, just taking the bandages, which is really nice, you know, to get those equipped. And also the assault rifle back. And also I decided to take the bandages with me just because I'm only going to have 75 HP max. And just in case the storm clips me or something, I might want to have a couple of bandages going forward. So right here guys, just moving forward with the storm, and just looking to go over the factory area here because it's right straight horizontal there, just to keep going to get in from the storm. So just looking to make that connection. Obviously farmed a decent amount of wood whilst I was in Lonely Lodge, so you know I've got some decent amount of material, and hopefully now looking for a fight with all this get up, because Blue Pump was a nice find on the way through the storm. And you know, but it would be nice to kill a player at this point, because the white AR for the late game is not going to be probably strong enough to go up against the likes of a Gold Scar and you know, weapons of the like. So at this moment here, just being careful is coming in. Obviously I've got to go down into quite a vast and wide open area here in the form of Tomato Town and the sort of bridge and tunnel that separates Tomato Town and Dusty Devo. So it's a very busy area, this one, and obviously most of the time you want to keep the height in this area, but because you know, I'm just looking again quickly, you know, I just literally take the horizontal route, and I'm happy that I did this in the time of this gameplay, because it presents me with an opportunity in a minute of which you guys are going to see. But at this point here, just checking my surroundings. Whenever I come in the storm, I always have a little look over my shoulder, just in case there's anyone behind me or someone on a level to the left and right. At this point I see some weird activity and see a portal in the distance, and can hear some fighting going on, so I'm like, okay, something's going down here. And at this moment in the game I was like, oh, for goodness sake, you know, exactly not where I want to find this portal fort right here. But at this moment, still getting into the zone. I see another base being built, and another portal fort has just been put down as well, so it's all kicking off here. But I just think to myself, well, I'll just get in, assess the situation, see what's going on. I can see a ramp's been built into this one, and start to make a progression, because I can see a player, and he's shooting over to the other guy in the portal fort, I think, or something else. And at this point here, I get a brilliant flank on this guy, and it's brilliant to kill this guy because he was actually the winner of that fight. And I think he killed the other player that he was shooting. And at this point here, I'm feeling very happy because he had a Gold Scar, and I killed him with a white AR of all things. And this is him spectating me with the eye, and I think he was pretty damn annoyed that he lost his Gold Scar to me with a white AR flank. That was a brilliant find, and brilliant kill. I mean, that was just a, you know, to kill this guy for a Gold Scar was brilliant. And also upgrading my tactical for the you know, the pump and the tactical combos. So you know, just brilliant plays. That's a really big kill. And you know, a lot more ammo now, a lot more you know, everything, materials. Obviously this guy did the work for me on this other guy that he killed, so I can now loot him as well. So I go down to find the guy that he got as well. So you know, that's a really big find, and sometimes the best opportunities come from those where you come out of the storm. And you know, brilliant find. You know, more materials, more small shields. You know, fantastic kill. At this point here is a sick guy right ahead of me, and again, another bit of perfect timing. I guess this guy was healing. That was the base that I said to you guys was between the portal forts, and maybe he didn't realise that, you know, maybe he thought everyone was dead and just came out a bit later. It looked like he was healing beyond that, and that guy had two big shield potions as well, so some really you know, pinching and grabbing situations there in which it really paid off for me. And I think those players must be gutted because, I've gone from zero to hero, and I think that's the story of Fortnite Battle Royale. Sometimes that can definitely happen, especially in solos. And at this point here, I can hear some weird goings on behind this tree, and also see a sort of structure and see a guy that was trying to sort of take a shot at me here. Here it's a bit of an awkward build because it's on a sort of hill incline, and the ramp isn't going up very high, so it did sort of catch me off guard for a minute here, and the guy does shoot out my base, and at this point here I'm just building to gain a little bit of height over him. I don't want to go too high because I know that he has a grenade launcher here, so got to be a little bit careful to maybe push onto him, and also careful of the noise factor. In terms of destroying the tree, obviously I've got to be careful there and get sniped from behind. At this point here, I want to try and end the battle as quickly as possible. Here I just see behind the tree what looks like the player. I think he ran in very quickly to try and get the... he was trying to surprise me there, and I'm really happy that I did kill him because, as I said, the storm is coming in. And at this moment here, when the storm is coming in, I know I've got a bit of distance to travel. I was prioritising heals and meds, and at this point here you can see I've got a couple of campfires there, so it's going to be really, really useful for me. So, that was a very, very big find, and campfires are very lucrative heal actually, and are very effective. Probably second place to a med kit, so that's a brilliant find. And at this point here I'm just being careful to make sure I do get in with time to heal from the zone, and some brilliant fights. And to be honest with you, given my current situation when I left Lonely Lodge, having a poor Lonely Lodge at the start of the game in terms of loot, I think that was the golden few kills and moments for me in this Royale to really take it home and potentially win this one. And really, really big finds for blockbuster SeReNiiTYzZ right here as he makes another movie. But at this point here, guys, just making my little wood cube to get the campfire going, and also recover my health. And as you can see, just using one of the shield pots there to get 100 shield again. Nice use of the campfire here will get me back a lot of my, I can get all of my HP back if I use the second one as well, which I think I did at the time of this gameplay. But some really big finds, really nice fight onto that no skin for the 4th kill. Nice awareness for me to notice that the outline of his character behind the tree is not something all Fortnite players would have noticed, and he got behind that tree very quietly on the sly, so it could have caught off players off guard. But some really top level awareness there. Definitely some good awareness to notice the shade of his character behind the tree. And at this point here, just activating my second campfire just to get the remainder of health back, which I feel is important because in the final few stages, especially in the final 3 or something, a campfire can be very useful in that situation, but might not have as much time to use one of those, and might have to rely more on traps and the offensive stuff such as a launch pad, a trap or a bounce pad. I think is more probably what you're looking to use in the final section of the game, although if you are very fast and quick builder, a campfire is certainly possible. So at this point here, guys, still got a decent amount of wood, a decent amount of brick and metal, and I'm thinking to myself at this point I want to save all my wood for the late game, so I decided to switch to my brick here for a brief moment because I don't have as much of it, and also just literally to build a sort of observance base at this point. I didn't really want to go any further. I'm on a hill in the zone, in a good position, and all the players that were around me I think are all players I've killed, so I feel relatively safe where I am now. And I think if you're pretty satisfied that your flank is covered, it's a good idea to set up in this way. Sometimes when the storm's coming in, there's nothing else spare to do unless you want to go around and roam. But in my case here, in terms of the Royale, I'm pretty satisfied with what I have now, the kills I have, and feel pretty good about winning. So I'm just going to use this phase to observe, and just listen out for anyone that might come up to me or below me that wanders in from the storm. But feeling pretty satisfied right now that I'm doing the right thing and what I should need to be doing to win this Royale. And at this point here, guys, just again observing, just being careful not to get sniped. That's why I put a wall up to my right, because I know a guy has a sniper rifle over there, so I just wanted to take absolute precautions really, that I wouldn't be killed in that way, because sniping in solo is much more effective, and if they do hit you in the head, you are going to be taken out of the game. So that was why I was taking much care here to not really peek. But at the same time, I've got to try and keep eyes on my opposition, because I need to sort of know what's going on. So that's why a couple of times here I will edit out the wall, just so I can sort of look through it and just see what's going on, just to give me an idea of what's going on. And also listening for sound at points as well. So at this point here, find out where the zone is going, and it's bringing us back to around the Pleasant Park area, which I think is pretty cool. Pleasant Park, I came and won here in the Moisty Merman skin, so I have a sort of awareness of what's around here. Most of Pleasant Park won't be included, and at this point here, because I'm quite far out from the zone, I decide to go in early, because I have the weaponry to do so. I have a good amount of heals, and I think when you have that situation where you have a lot of stuff, it's worth going in early and just trying your luck, I think, at this point in the Royale, because you need a good position in the final zone. And sometimes it's a choice between being aggressive and passive, but at this point here, land some really nice scar shots onto the player and kill him very quickly there, because really had no chance. I tagged him up for a lot of damage and get myself pretty much everything I need now to win the Royale. Loads of ammo, a good amount of rockets now in the grenade launcher, more materials as a result of killing that guy. And that guy that I just killed as well, I will let you know now, guys, because I watch all of my solo wins back in theatre. That guy that I just killed had 8 kills. So that's why the loot from him, in terms of ammo and materials, was very lucrative, because he killed 8 people up until the point where I killed him. So, potentially taking out one of the stronger players left in the game. And I've spotted another player here that's going onto one of the only hills in the zone. As you can see, he's built wooden ramps at the back. And I think what SeReNiiTYzZ was doing here was, I was trying to be a bit too clever, and I didn't really need to be. What I was trying to do was crouch up to him on his own ramp and try and go for the kill, which was a bold move. But obviously it's a little bit difficult when crouching to go up a player's ramp to avoid accidental near miss like that, for instance. And that was a bit silly to get myself caught in the storm. As you can see, it's starting to come in just a tad on this side, so I did take a bit of unnecessary damage and try the same tactic, but then think, what, sod it, I don't actually have to do that, but I am going to have to just use one of the campfires that I found from the player I just killed. But a little bit wasteful. It wasn't the greatest idea, to be honest with you. If a player is up there, it is on a hill, but that hill is not much included in the final. It is in this zone, but if you look at that hill where it's coming in, it's actually not much included in the final, in this current circle. And I would say odds on are that the hill will not be included in the next zone, so it's not entirely necessary. So just literally setting up around here where I killed the previous player is probably a better bet. And 4 players left. I know that this side of the map is secure, so I have no reason really not to build just a little observance base. I have a lot of material, so I need not be scared of where I'm coming in from now. And the zone is a little bit further ahead of me here. I'm in a much more commanding position. I know where one of the players is already. He's up on the hill. He has to come down here, put down my little marker, as I said to you in a previous video. I like to do that to make sure I know exactly where I'm going when I need to push, because sometimes it's easy to lose focus of that when you're trying to win a solo Royale gameplay. And at this point here, guys, I will let you know now that it does come down to a final 1v1 between me and the guy that loses, obviously. But it was a really good finish from me, but one of the other player goes out quite unexpectedly. He actually, the player that you saw that went up the hill, actually falls down, that makes the same mistake as I did, and it falls on his back ramps and actually takes storm damage and dies from the storm. So as you can see there, it came up that he took full damage and died to the storm. So there you go. So with it now being known that the third player was lost in the storm, and I can see where this guy is building in the centre. Saw it as I was pushing into the zone. He was building on top of the one of the houses of Pleasant Park that still remains from being in the storm. Get in a position where I can start to bombard him. Smart play from him to knock out my little one ramp ladder, so really good play from him. But in the commotion, I'm able to take out his base, and I think he's quite surprised at the resilience that I'm demonstrating with the grenade launcher right here as I send in many bombs to his location right now, with some good pressure there, and I did actually hit him with one of them as well, so some really critical plays. At this point here, guys, I checked it back in the theatre. I'm against a regret temper, I think the guy's game tag was, and I think he will have some sort of temper or regret with the way that he played in this final bit of gameplay right here, but tried to keep the pressure on him at all times at this moment, and at this moment here, some really nice builds for myself. Just have to be careful that I don't go too high in this final 1v1 and make good use of my shields and materials, and just try and wear this guy down. At the moment, you know, I'm really in the driving seat because I'm more in the zone and better position than he is, and he's right on the exterior to the storm. As you can see, he hit some good shots here, so I just think to just make it a little bit more fortified, more of a more of a sort of aerial threat above him as well, which is a nice bit of play. But as I was saying earlier, just be careful of going too high to avoid full damage, because health is something I can't replace now, only shields, so I do have to sort of make sure that I'm protected at all times. At this point here, some good fight. Again, just have to be careful about, you know, allowing regret temper, the player that I'm going up against here, to try and win this Royale the time to shoot out my structures, and in response he tries to make himself more fortified, as I have a load of gold scar ammo and unfortunately no more rockets. That's what I'm relying on to really, you know, hammock all his bases and materials that he builds. And at this moment here, some really good play from me, just not being too overly aggressive. Don't want to end up getting myself tanked up for some unnecessary shots from him, because he has a gold scar as well, so just being careful not to, you know, take unnecessary damage. And at this point here, I lose some eyes on him, so just decide to make some progression on my building, make myself a little escape ramp at the back so that I can go back down and not take full damage. And at this moment, I hear him building towards me. I hit him for a really nice blue pump shot, and I think that's what really puts him on the ropes. You can see he's a player that's not frightened to build, but because of that one blue pump shot, it puts the honus back on him. And at this moment he tries to gain the height over me again, he determines where I am, but at this moment I block him in with a really nice cube build on top of his. The storm's right, you know, more or less on in there. I know which cube he's in, so I just make more walls to make him, you know, much more fortified from my end. Possibly the only thing I could have done differently here was shoot out the ramp that he built to get in the zone, and maybe the whole thing would have fell apart, but at this moment I know I've gotten trapped in like you know, like I was trapped in on the gameplay where I had to send pure clumsy off the pitch, but at this moment I know he's got his pinned, and I know that he can't really do anything there. I'm going to get him one way or the other, and at this moment grab my popcorn and you know, sit down with you guys on SeReNiiTYzZ and realise I've got a movie, another Royale win in solo, and you know, a much better game this one in terms of kills and general flair to the game. 6 kills for Blockbuster today, Blockbuster SeReNiiTYzZ. I hope you guys enjoyed it, with some popcorn to boot, and a pretty nice 1v1 to finish off proceedings. Very comfortable performance, much more efficient use of materials as well. Obviously it was lucky that the zone was more favourable to me at the end, and yeah, some really good plays, some really clinical plays. It was all fought through quite strategically all the way to the Royale, and I think things just fell together in place, and sometimes that's what you need in solo to have a really good game like this. But really hope you guys enjoyed it. More of the competition level of players improving on Fortnite Battle Royale. I think every win is much more rewarding, and I really enjoyed this one today. This was SeReNiiTYzZ, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.